My name is Evans. I'm a cell site engineer, and I'm 29.
Okay. All right.
Hey girl, and welcome back to our channel. Today we're diving into a sensitive but important topic between Black women and Black men and relationships. Why do some Black women feel disrespected by Black men? And what's giving them the reason to not wanting to date Black men anymore? Let's check a few of these videos out.
I'm just going to be 1,000% honest. If I were 22 today, I would not be dating Black men at all, unless they were older. They'd have to be real old. Because they're too feminine these days for me. I like masculine, go get them, I'm gonna pay for that baby type men, okay? Where you want to go on vacation type men. That's what I like. If I was 22 today, I wouldn't date Black men. I'm sorry. Y'all take too long to get y'all stuff together. Y'all want us to pay half the bills and sleep with you? No, can't do that. I wouldn't be able to do it. I'm not saying that other men are better than you. I'm just saying they're more ambitious than you. Yes, you can play basketball and football really good. You dominate the rap game. But the average non-famous Black man has less ambition. I like ambition. Ambition leads to success. Oh, sorry. Others have a financial head start. They are not more ambitious. That's not really true. You can't use that as an excuse. If you're ambitious, you don't need a head start. If you good, you don't need a head start. Seriously, my husband didn't have no head start. He's Black. Yeah, he came from a family of 10 in the country. He didn't have no head start. So what's your excuse? You come up with every excuse instead of every solution. That's your problem. You're going to sit here and say, oh, this, oh, that. You're going to come up with 10 excuses before you come up with half a solution. That's why you stuck. That's why women make more money than you. That's why you are stuck. Okay? And that's just the honest truth. Everybody sees that. Everyone. Except y'all.
So I don't date American Black men. I have never dated an American Black man, and my reasons are quite simple. So a few days ago, I made a video about coffee dates, and I basically talked about how I would never accept a coffee date as a first date. I think it's low effort and it's just not my thing. Surprisingly enough, and I was genuinely surprised, 98% of the commenters and the people that were upset were American Black men. So shocked because I didn't think that video would land on their For You page, but it did, and hundreds of them, were crying on my shoulder over the fact that I would not drink bean juice on a first date with a man or with anyone. They were in my comments calling me all types of names, saying that I'm a gold digger and saying that I'm this and that. And then unprovoked, they started attacking me for my looks. By the way, I was so nice in that video. I did not insult anyone in that video, but they were insulting me. They were coming at me for my skin color, saying that I'm too dark and that I shouldn't have any standards. They were coming at me for my Afrocentric features. They were coming at me because I have an Afrocentric hairstyle in. Black American men honestly have this habit of attacking Black women for the way that they look, especially if you are a darker skinned woman or you have more Afrocentric features. They will attack you. So the fact that they came at me for my looks unprovoked is not surprising to me at all. So reading the comments and watching the stitches, it brought up a discussion between me and my parents about why I don't date American Black men. American Black men generally do not value courtship, traditionalism, or even marriage. And I'm not saying that all American Black men are like this, but a large majority are. They will berate you, break you down, and take advantage of you. I don't know why, but the sight of seeing a Black woman, a dark-skinned Black woman, having standards, really does bother them. Maybe it's because in their mind, nobody ever talks about this, but they believe black women, dark-skinned black women, deserve crumbs. Colorism is real, and they think that we deserve crumbs and that we shouldn't have any standards. I mean, I was getting so many messages and comments saying, "You're dark-skinned, why do you have all these standards?" The only reason why that video got them really upset was because it basically told them to do better. And they do not take well at all to being told to do better, as you can clearly see. And it's because they are not required to. They are used to giving women nothing, giving women crumbs, but then receiving the world back. So when they were watching my video, they were so upset. They were like, "Oh, no. You want me to take you on a proper date? A proper date when all I'm used to is inviting women back to my house, or inviting women on a nature walk as a first date, or inviting women to my car to link and smoke? You want me to actually put in effort? No, I'm not used to that at all." They're literally in my comments saying, "What makes you think you deserve a meal? You need to prove yourself." And when American black men say that you need to prove yourself, that just basically means you need to go through hell and back with him. They don't want to put in the effort because they're lazy, they are entitled, and they are cheap. And don't get me wrong, it's not all American black men that are like this. It's just the large majority. And that is a problem because the majority of black American women prefer black American men, but there are not enough good black American men to go around.
Girl, black men are the hardest group of men to date. And if you don't believe me, you can look at the divorce rates. Black men that marry black women get a divorce rate that's at 100% higher than the average. Black men that marry white women are at a 200% divorce rate increase. Black women that date non-black men are anywhere from 20 to 44% less in divorce rate. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because most black women are dating and marrying black men, and there are certain challenges involved with that I think are important, so I wanted to share those with you so you understood. Am I saying that I don't want you to be with a black man? Not at all. 2/3 of my clients actually end up with black men, but I want to make sure that you're vetting them very well so that you get healthy, healed black men. Okay, so what am I talking about? First, let's talk about mom. Girl, in the 90s, 75% of the households, black households, were single mother households. So black men generally have two relationships with their mother. Either they were a mesh, so entitled, and they think that they're the prize and they are looking for women to be mothers, or their mother was very highly critical, judgmental. So a lot of black men are actually running away from black women because they're running away from their mothers. So a question that you want to ask if you're dating a black guy is ask him about his relationship with his mother. Yeah? Okay, number 2, money. Unfortunately, because black men are less educated and some, systematic prejudices, racism, discrimination, black men are not making as much money as probably they need to be. But also, they're making less money than black women. So, and this is the only kind of racial group where this happens. And so, it is very hard to find a black man that is making more than you. And if that is the case, oftentimes, black men will feel emasculated and often try to humble you and control you because they don't feel like they're in financial control. So that makes it a little bit challenging when you're dealing with black men. You want to ask him what he does, right? You want to ask him, and then you want to glass door that mofo, girl. You also want to ask him how many people he manages, right? Because if he can't manage people professionally, he probably can't manage people personally. Thirdly, you want to ask about the men in his life, his mentors. A lot of black men actually don't have many mentors, so it's really weird to say and it feels very archaic, but it's very true, and it is this. A man is looking for an alpha man to kind of check him. That is kind of the orders of operation, PEMDAS, if you will, in terms of how to kind of raise a man. And so if he doesn't have mentors, a father, other elders to kind of keep him in check, he's going to be out here kind of roaming the streets like many of them are. So you want to ask him, who are his male role models and mentors? Okay. Fourthly, you have to understand something. There are 100 black women to 88 black men. So what that means is, and if you went to college, you understood this gender ratio gap. It means that oftentimes men have more power because there are fewer of them. So it means that they're going to have lower commitment rates and higher abandonment rates because they're going to have other women waiting for them, which isn't necessarily the case for Black women because there's so much more of them. And if you are in a bigger city, it's going to be even worse, right? It's actually like 25% more Black women than Black men. So it makes it harder to date them. So when you're asking about kind of his commitment level, you want to ask him how many relationships he's had that has lasted more than a year, okay? And finally, the reason why it's kind of harder to date Black men is because of the micro and macro aggressions that they have to face, similar to what the aggressions that you have to face. But oftentimes, those things will lead to depression and anger for men, and they might bring it home, which can make it very hard for Black women to be with them. So you want to ask them how they deal with those sorts of aggressions on a daily basis and how they manage it mentally, intellectually, emotionally. I hope this is helpful as you evaluate Black men, and also I want you to date everybody, right? I know that the biggest flex and in terms of being able to find success in your dating life is to be able to date everyone. I hope this helps as you navigate your dating journey, and if you want help with that, definitely book a call with me.
Just don't enjoy it. It's not an enjoyable experience for me, and I don't like any of you.
I absolutely love when these kind of Black males say stuff like, oh, we don't date Black women. No, hun, Black women don't date you. Because let's just keep it a buck. Like, let's just keep it honest. The Black males that act like they don't date Black women are just the Black males that Black women have passed up on for years because something is wrong with them. Come on now. Black women don't date you. It's not the other way around.
Because a lot of Black women, and I'm speaking African American, feel forced to date Hispanic men or even white men because Black men treat them so poorly.
I was literally about to say.
Let's talk about the stereotypes, right?
Okay,
As a Latina,
okay.
I get aggressive with you. I start cursing you out in Spanish. I'm yelling. I'm making a show. Oh, that's sexy. But let a Black woman do it. Crazy because I could look the same as her. She could have my complexion, all of that. But just because I speak Spanish, it's sexy.
A female hit me up in the DM and they asked me, why is it that successful Black men always date white women or Oriental women when they get some money? Well, I'm attempt to answer this the best way I know how, just by keeping it all the way 1,000. See, a lot of times when men get some money, Black men to be exact, they want a woman that's going to be submissive, that's going to actually do what they say, and a woman that's going to just be there to support every decision they make. Asian women, white women are very subtle, very submissive, very easy to deal with. They haven't came up the way Black women have came up. And a lot of times when you're dealing with Black women, you know, you're gonna deal with some kickback. They not just gonna do whatever the fuck you say just because you making the bread and butter. When a man get power and when he feels like he's on top of his game, he's on top of the world, and he got some money, you can't tell him nothing. His ego's to the roof. The white woman might deal with that type of shit because she just happy to have a Black man.
Men who are not as healed.
Right.
This shit getting messy, bruh. Fellas, check me out. Let me put this precursor on this shit real quick. I'm all for manhood and masculinity, my nigga. But as a Black man, the version of masculinity we learn is questionable, to say the least.
It is.
With that being said, we gonna
I want y'all
walk it out.
clapping, like just agree.
With that being said, I think some not as healed men tend to ask for a position in a woman's life that they may not have had the necessary practice to fill efficiently. And so this is not to shit on those men, because I hate when we turn this into a man bashing thing, bro. Like, this is not the bash guys. I think that a lot of unhealed men are striving for this thing that we're taught to be, and they demand it before they actually reach it because it's the only way they know how to validate themselves. I think a lot of men only know how to feel like a man when they're leading somebody. I think some men only know how to feel like a man when somebody actually is under their tutelage, under their guidance, under their protection. You feel me? A lot of men don't actually know themselves alone. Like, know themselves outside of their circumstance, know themselves outside of...
So many Black girls trying to figure out why Black men don't like Black women. I think I got an answer for you. I'm Ruquan, senior at Harvard, studying Black history, and I grew up around BlackLove, grew up in Washington, D.C., which is Chocolate City. So I felt and seen black love at every level, you know, in the hood, in the schools, you know, in office, in the businesses, on the street, whatever it is. And I come to Harvard and I experience something really different, where there's this war between black men and black women that's like the black women hate the black men, the black men, some of them stay away from the black women to get a white girl or whatever. I realize what's happening is these two groups of people are not actually talking to each other. These two groups of people are listening to stories from their parents, and they're also experiencing things from each other, but they're not actually sitting down and having a conversation about their desires, about their fears. And since they're not doing that, it's going to be extremely difficult to arrive at a place where love can exist like this, because a part of love requires intimacy and vulnerability. Vulnerability is about taking off the clothes, being free, being open, letting it be known and letting it be shown, sharing how you truly feel. Intimacy is about both parties doing that and then coming close together. If there is no vulnerability and intimacy, it's difficult for love to be experienced. It's not just that black women want a husband. It's not just that black men want a wife. Black men want to be loved and black women want to be loved, just like white women want to be loved and white men want to be loved. But here's the thing, you only are going to be loved if you're both vulnerable and intimate, because that's the way that someone has an opportunity to truly patch you up where you're broken, kiss you where you hurt, and things of that nature. So what I'm saying is, like, it's a lot of people asking, like, oh, who's gonna love me? Who's gonna love me? They don't love me, he don't love me, she don't love me. But that same person is typically not willing to go and say, hey, I wanna be loved. Here's where I'm broken. Here's where I hurt. Here's what I'm afraid of. Can you help me? And I think if that happens, then the outcomes will be better for both black men and black women.
First, it's important to recognize that every relationship is unique and generalization can be harmful. However, some common themes have emerged from personal stories and societal observations. Many black women have shared experiences of feeling disrespected by black men. This can manifest in various ways, such as verbal abuse, infidelity, and a lack of emotional support. Not getting to the root cause of all of this anger, of all of this harm that black men put on black women, but they run over to white women, the side that they feel will choose them and respect them better, when in fact they are not the first choice.
Don't like black guys because they just, like, I don't know, like, she can't take you. They're just too much. I just can't deal. Yeah. I don't know, like, just the way they are, they're just too extra. Like, I just didn't do that. I don't know.
The white girl.
Yes.
And you get attention from black guys.
Yes.
In my experience and all the other white girls that I know, we don't think that getting attention from black guys gives you a status of some sort. If you get attention from the white guys, you do have the status more than if you get attention from black guys.
As a man, I'm going to have to respectfully disagree with that.
Well, as a woman who gets attention and who grew up in a white culture more than a black culture, I'm going to tell you that getting attention from black guys is not a badge of honor if you're white.
Okay.
And I'm white.
You are white.
Yes.
All right. No,
if a white girl gets attention from a white guy, that's more valuable in white culture than if she gets attention from a black guy. If she gets attention from a black guy, that doesn't make you a better anything. Like, that doesn't raise you in anybody's eyes. As a matter of fact,
in some people's eyes, it does.
As a matter of fact, it's a little bit of oh, you know, she's basically not good enough for the white, so she's good for the black guys. That's how it's looked at with white people.
I see it the opposite way, but